America stands on the edge of a historic impeachment trial. I am joined by one of the individuals who will be a juror in that trial, Senator Rick Scott of Florida. Good morning, Senator. Welcome back to the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Good morning, Hugh. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting week. Maybe, I guess Pelosi's circus is going to be over, and she clearly is caved. So we'll see. We'll see what she does this week. One thing, Hugh, I'd love to get to the bottom of what how I think this all started with Hunter Biden. I don't know whether it's this process or a different one. And what's frustrating to me is I came up here. I've been up here a year. Let's do the things that are important. Let's get drug prices down, balance the budget, secure a border. But no, Pelosi and the Democrats just want to focus on trying to get rid of this president.
Well, Senator, I am not a senator, and if I ever am one, it'll be from Ohio. But if I was one right now, based on everything I have read and seen, I would vote to dismiss the articles. If you had to vote only on the basis of what you've seen and read produced by the House, will you vote to acquit President Trump?
Absolutely. I mean, the Democrats have proven Trump's innocent. The only guy that's been transparent in this is Trump. Think about what are they going to talk? Hugh, what are they going to talk about? Hearsay evidence is not admissible. So that's all they got over in the House is hearsay evidence. They didn't want to take the time, to go to court. And see if they wanted other people to testify. They didn't let the Republicans call witnesses. I mean, it was just a sham in the House, and it's just been a circus by Pelosi. You can see all this was a game for her. This is just a pure game. Has nothing to do with trying to get to the bottom line.
So if a motion is made, and a motion will be made to dismiss, will you support it?
Oh, absolutely.
And if that fails,
I want to get the facts.
Excuse me?
Well, look, I think all of us. I mean, I clearly want to get to the facts. But if based on what we know today, I don't see what's the high crime and misdemeanor.
There isn't one. I don't think there was an offense in that phone call, much less an impeachable offense. I've said that for 3 months.
Yeah.
It's the silliest damn thing I have ever seen. It really is.
Yeah. But I think here's what's going to happen. I think both sides are going to present their case. We'll get to ask questions in writing. And then we'll take a vote. I don't think we're going to have any witnesses. I think it'll be over right then.
Well, let's pause on that.
Fast.
If that is what happens, no witnesses, when can we be done with this silliness?
I think it'll happen within a couple of weeks. Now, let's see when Pelosi actually gives it to us. I mean, she hasn't said what day she's going to give it to us. So let's see when she's going to give it to us. And I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen pretty fast. I don't know how the House, what are they going to talk about if they can't talk about hearsay evidence?
Well, they will talk about it here. No one will. Will you register an objection with the Chief Justice if they begin to talk about that? I think they just get to make speeches for as many hours as they want.
Yeah, Hugh, I think that's what will happen. They'll make the speeches, but we all know that hearsay evidence is not admissible. So it's just a joke.
Okay, so given that it is a joke, I am curious about when and if the leader has instructed you folks, you can expect to get back to real work. And are you obliged to actually sit at your desk during this joke fest?
What I've been told is we have to sit at our desk and we cannot talk to anybody, and we cannot do anything. We cannot give any speeches. We cannot say anything on the floor. Once they finish each side their presentation, we get to present written questions, and the Chief Justice will decide whether they ask the questions or not to both sides. And then at that point, we'll get to make a decision whether we want witnesses or not. I bet right then what we'll do is we'll just my understanding is it takes 51 votes. We'll take 51 votes and it'll be over.
Now, talk to me a little bit about the timing on this. If you receive the articles on Wednesday and the managers are named, has the leader given you some indication when you will all be obliged to be in your chairs?
Well, he said pretty quickly we'll take the oath, but when each side will start, he hasn't said yet. So, what's frustrating me is why aren't we doing something important like we got a drug price problem. The pharmaceutical companies have raised prices again this year, and Hugh, we didn't even take any time to review the budget we just passed, where it's $1 trillion deficit. What a joke is going on up in D.C. right now. As an American taxpayer, you should be furious of what's going on up in D.C. right now.
I do believe that Nancy Pelosi has hurt her party dramatically, and her income. In fact, I'm going to play for you her response about the impeachment yesterday to George Stephanopoulos, his question was a little disjointed, but her response talks about generally why Donald Trump is a bad person. Cut number 35, Nancy Pelosi.
No, and the President of the United States is in complete denial about Russia's role. As I have said, in terms of this president, all roads lead to Putin. He said he's not going to accept the assessment of our own intelligence agent that they were very much involved in 2016 election. That 24/7 now they are still engaged. He's trying to blame it on Ukraine and this silliness that has been debunked again and again, but he and his folks still keep advancing it. Everything that he has done, whether it's in Syria vis-a-vis the Turks, whether it's been in Ukraine in terms of withholding assistance as they try to fight the Russians, his denial about their role in our election then and now, all roads lead to. And sometimes I wonder about Mitch McConnell, too. Why is he an accomplice to all of that? He has resisted resources going in a manner commensurate with the threat for state not agencies, whichever they are in a state, could be the Secretary of State or whatever, to protect our infrastructure, our critical infrastructure of elections. He says you shouldn't even call that critical infrastructure. So it's all of a piece with them, and that's why it's really important for the facts to come forward.
So, Senator Scott, you were a governor for 8 years. You superintended an election. You just heard Nancy Pelosi say, quote, "Sometimes I wonder about Mitch McConnell. Why has he resisted ... protecting our infrastructure of election?" She is suggesting Mitch McConnell is a Russian asset again. She's nuts.
So the Senate has put money up to make sure our elections were secure. Let's remember, it was when Obama was president that we had a problem with our elections. In 2018, we didn't have problems with our elections because the Trump administration and Congress spent money to try to make sure it didn't happen. So, but let's listen to everything Nancy Pelosi said. She rambled and rambled and rambled. Name the high crime and misdemeanor. That's what the standard is. There's she talked about Russia. I mean, the Mueller investigation proved there was no collusion, none.
If
so
the
this is just the hate. She hates Trump. Now she's attacking Mitch McConnell.
I know. To accuse Mitch McConnell of being a Russian asset, which is what she implicitly did, is extraordinary for a leader of the opposition. Let me talk for a second about the witnesses. One of Nancy's many gyrations was that the speaker wanted to bring in John Bolton. John Bolton quite nicely played into the Democratic frenzy for anything and fed that fire. If there's a motion by one of your Democratic colleagues to call John Bolton, will you vote against it?
I don't know why we'd have any witness. Let's remember, this is the House's responsibility. They said that they had to get this done so quickly that they couldn't wait to do the witnesses, and then she sat on it for a month. So this was their job. They haven't proven their case. All they've proven is that President Trump is innocent. He released a transcript. So no, I don't see any need to hear from any witnesses.
Okay, so
but you know what?
Go ahead.
If we're going to have witnesses, I mean, we clearly need to understand what happened. This all started with Hunter Biden. What was the deal? Why did he get paid? What was Joe Biden doing? So if we're going to go through this process, let's get all the facts. Let's understand exactly how the whistleblower got their information. Let's get everything out on the table. But I don't believe that we're going to hear from any witnesses.
All right, now I want to switch to national security, Senator Scott, while I've got you. Do you support the strike to kill Soleimani?
Absolutely. And here's what's frustrating. So when Osama bin Laden was killed, first off, Mitch McConnell was not given prior notice, okay? But when it happened, he said, "Great job." Name the Democrat. I mean, look, the Democrats won't say good job. On top of that, Ted Cruz has got a resolution that I support that thanks our military members for what they did. And you know what? My understanding is not one Democrat is going to thank our military members.
That is, it's extraordinary. Now, do you believe that the president is doing the right thing in supporting the Iranians in the streets, because the regime is a despotic regime, and Team Obama turned its back on the Green Revolution in 2009. This president and his team are saying to Khamenei, "Don't kill your demonstrators," which is a good thing to say again and again and again. What do you say, Rick Scott?
I agree. I mean, think about it. Think about what's going on in the world. We got people protesting for democracy in Iran. We've got the vote in Taiwan, where it was a rebuttal against the General Secretary of the Communist Party, Xi. We've got the Hong Kong protesters. Look at what's going on in the world. People are saying, America's back. We thank God that America believes in democracy. Thank God that America has our back. Thank God that American citizens are supporting us, because it's helping us worldwide. So my heart goes out to the Iranian protesters, what they have to live under, and they would be so great if they could get new leadership. And
so I want to close where I began, Senator Scott, for emphasis. When you sit as a juror in the impeachment trial, will you vote to acquit President Trump?
Yes. I mean, look, Hugh, I'm going to listen to all the facts. Based on what we know today, the Democrats proved that he didn't do anything wrong.
That's it. And you're hopeful that we'll be back to real work, doing real stuff by, the beginning of February?
A couple weeks, yeah, hopefully.
Right. Now, God bless you in that endeavor, and stay straight. Just talk common sense. It's the dumbest thing I've seen. It's a constitutional outrage, but it's what the Democrats do. Senator Rick Scott of Florida, thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure to talk to you. One vote to acquit, and I think he is a good bellwether. Very serious guy, very successful governor of Florida, always on the march, always on the move, always trying to get stuff done. And I believe it is absolutely necessary to dismiss this quickly. Nancy Pelosi may have done this just to help Joe Biden, because the only guy who gets to campaign are Biden and Buttigieg. Warren has to go sit at her desk. Bernie Sanders has to go sit at his desk. Amy Klobuchar has to go sit at her desk. Cory Booker has to go sit at his desk. They all have to go sit down at their desks and listen for as long as the House managers talk. And you can bet those four senators, Senators Booker and Warren, Sanders and Klobuchar, are going to be staring daggers at these House members. It's a circus. It's a silly, absurd circus.